Hello guys, thanks for watching. This is Matt Lemke with TrueGamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com, and today we have another flip through for you. This is on Pathfinder 2nd Edition's Impossible Lands. This is not a complete review, it's going to be a brief overview. I'm shooting for maybe 10 minutes, so if you were looking for a complete review, this is probably not the right video for you. I haven't gotten that far yet. So real quick, the Impossible Lands is 346 pages. It has a retail point of $59.99. The PDF is $29.99. Put it in perspective for those of you that have the Mwangi Expanse. There's about 50 more pages in this book than there is in the Mwangi Expanse. And this book is really an in-depth look at the region of that was first introduced in Lost Omens World Guide called the Impossible Lands. And I'm just going to flip to the map real quick and we'll zoom in on the map. Oh, I think I passed it. Here's the map. So I'll put that there. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom in real quick so I can give you an idea of where it is. I might have, shoot. I was hoping this map was a little bit more detailed. It's not the map that I thought was in the book. So all of this colored or better colored area is the Impossible Lands. You have two island nations. You've got next to the north, you've got the Mana Wastes, you've got Geb, and I think, where's the other one? So there's Quantum, the magical city. Anyway, so it's sandwiched between the Abari Ocean and the Mwangi Expanse. All of this over here is the Mwangi Expanse. And then I think, if my geography is correct, this is Garum. No, that's not right. Anyway, that's where it sits within Galarian. You have... I wish I had my bigger map. Anyway, moving on. Well, before we get too far, before I start talking about heritages and ancestries, there's an introduction in Geb, and one of the most important things you need to understand, I think, about the Impossible Lands is that where they're founded, where they're set, where they are, their roots, their historical roots. The whole area is based off of a war that had raged for over 1,000 years, and different things have evolved to tell this story. Certain parts of this book are probably not for everyone. If you do not like undead, or you don't like the idea that people might be herded as basically cattle, or other sentient beings are herded as cattle to feed the people of Geb, there are probably going to be some sensitive areas for you. Now, with that said, I believe any game master and any group can find a way to make this work. It's just about balancing things out within your group. With that said, the introduction briefly covers all of the different lands, talks a little bit about the King of Geb, how they relate with each other, a current state of the affairs, and it has a history starting in year 7,000 before AR, and then it comes up to, well, the current. And then with that said, we're going to start delving into the actual book a lot. I'm not going to go over a lot of the history here. I'll save that for a review. One thing that I do like about this is People of the Impossible Lands. One of the listings is giants. There's a lot of genies and geniekin. On the sidebars, it talks about all the major races that are in the core rulebook as well, and the advanced character guide, the player's guides, and the other books that have come before. Now, it mentions undead here. So I'm going to stop for a moment. I recently did the Book of the Undead, and that book was pretty phenomenal. And if you're going to do anything in Geb, I highly suggest that if you're going to do that, you pick up the Book of Dead. It is really going to be beneficial for the things that you can and cannot do in Geb. Also, there's a lot of Rakshasas, whatever. I've never been able to say that since 8th grade. But heritages. There are 1, 2, 3, 3 sets of heritages where the newer heritages are introduced. Flesh warps have 5, I think it is. 5 new feats, 3 new heritages, while geniekin just have 7 new feats. And the tieflings also have 7 new feats. They talk about the Shaded Library, which is basically a whispered network of dire claims about various deities of the multiverse. I kind of like this. Well, actually, I like it a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have mentioned it. And then there are 5 new ancestries to the book. And this is probably where we're going to spend more time than I would normally spend on a flip through. So we have the Gorons, which are basically a sentient plant race that were created as a need. They were created by druids that are long since dead, and they pretty much live. They were created to fight the war against Geb, basically, and that's what you need to know. They have 80 hit point base. Their speed's 25. Their ability boost is Constitution. Languages are just like every other race in the game, ancestry in the game. They have low light vision, and they don't need food because they live off of sunlight. There's some interesting rules to that. And like every heritage, there's different ancestries. Feats all the way out to 17th level. And then the next race we have are the Kashrishi. And they're basically an empathic being that are sturdy in structure. They kind of look like a rhino. Their horn glows with certain telepathic abilities. They have natural empathy abilities, and as a result, it could both be good and a bad thing. Again, they have different ancestries, and they have different feats all the way out to 17th level. And then we have the Nagagi, which are basically servants of the Naga. And again, they have things like low light vision and fangs, and their hit die is 10 though, which I found interesting. And basically they serve Naga. And there's different ancestors or heritages for them as well, and feats all the way out to 17th level. And we have the Vanara, which are monkeys. Can I say Monkey King, anyone? Does anybody want to play the Monkey King? They are basically a mischievous race that is a humanoid race of, well, they're not monkeys, but they're humanoid, but they look like monkeys. They've got tails, they've got monkey-style feet. They have 6 hit points as their base. They're mischievous, so when I think of them, I really kind of think of the Monkey King. This guy, though, he looks a little bit savage. They have different heritages as well, and feats all the way out to 17th level. And then we have the Vishkanya, which has been all over the web. Or at least I've seen stuff. Maybe they did it for every race or every heritage, every ancestry. But this is the one I remember seeing the most online. And they're basically a misunderstood race because they have poisons or toxins in their blood and in their saliva. So they have earned a bad name, and they are trying to, as a society, vanquish that bad name. And again, they have their own heritages and feats all the way out to 17th level. Now, the rest of the book is really about the geography of the Impossible Lands. And it starts with Alkenstar. And basically every single chapter, or from here on out, or every single portion of the book is going to have the breakdown of the nation's population, the type of people in it, the languages, the different factions that are prominent, types of resources, and the religions found within society. Alkenstar is basically a well, before I do that, every chapter is also broken down based, or it's not even the chapters, it's like sub-chapters within the chapters. So Alkenstar has more than one listing, but every listing is broke down a day in, a year in, people of, the culture, government, locations, and then at the very end, the last thing they talk about is adventuring within all of that said section of the book. So in this case, it would be adventuring in Alkenstar. So Alkenstar is really technologically advanced. They are home to smog, pollution, but it's also a place where mechanics, automatons, I would say, gunslingers, alchemists kind of come and thrive. As you can see from this picture, this gives me, in my opinion, a good idea. It's not as bad as like industrial London or industrial America / New York with smog and pollution when we were doing our industrial revolution. But this is the kind of feel I get from what this section of the book is about. And then after they talk about Alkenstar a little bit, they go to the Citadel of the Dwarves, which, if I can get to it, the name of it is actually Citadel of Skyflame, which is a dwarven city that is in Sky, which is really cool because they talk about how it is to live within the Citadel and share thoughts on what it is like for the dwarves and how they have evolved differently. One of the things they have done differently is they have a lot of cannons and things that are rare and unique because that's what they've specialized in making. Now, adventuring in Alkenstar, we have new equipment, we have a new animal companion, we have Way of the Triggered Brand, which is a new gunslinger path, new gunslinger feats, a shield marshal archetype, which is basically the police force of Alkenstar. And then we move into Bopon. Bopon is a island nation. It's the smaller of the two, and it is heavily influenced by the Fae. Fae magic is prevalent pretty much everywhere. If you, in fact, half the population is Fae touched, and the other half is pretty much beastkin. And then if you scroll through again, it's a day in, all that fun stuff. At the end of the chapter, the coolest thing that they have is a new feat that is for everyone. There's no requirement other than, it's rare. It's Fae influence. You have been exposed to powerful magic. You become trained in primal DCs and your spell attack. You gain the Fae trait. One of the following features grants you innate primal spell that you can choose to use once per day. It is a 5th level feat, but it's for any character, which is really cool. And I mean, there's a lot of different choices there. Unicorn. You have magical horn or prominent symbol of one of your on your forehead, which you can use to cast heal. Great stuff. And then after that, you get into Geb, which is one of the larger sections of the book. Geb is the nation of undead where they do all kinds of crazy stuff. They herd people or sentient beings and they use them as food. That's the biggest thing. Adventuring in Geb features, it brings into play new curses, if I can get there, new magic items and spell catalysts. So one of the items that struck my fancy was Vulture's Wing. It's held in one hand. It basically, you activate it to cast a spell. The spell has been heightened to at least 5th level. Instead of targeting a single creature, you cast the spell in a 30-foot area cone. You don't make the spell. Attack roll instead, affecting creatures within the area with the effect the spell would normally have on it. On a hit, this means creatures within must attempt a fortitude save. I really like what they did with it, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. And then Jalmaray is another island nation. It is the larger of the two islands. It's got a couple of smaller islands there. And basically, Jalmaray is home to elements, geniekin, things of that nature. To me, it kind of has a Indian / maybe it's not Hindu influence, but it's that kind of cultural look with the elephants. One of the new things that they do in the John Murray adventuring section is they give you a new familiar that is an elephant, which is kind of neat. They also have a section where they introduce 5 new feats, some new focus spells that are martial arts themed. There's a new archetype that, oh, I'm sorry, the martial arts themed archetype is in here as well. The focus spells and the feats that I mentioned are, oh, and new weapons, which I thought was really cool. These to me are very martial-based weapons and martial arts-based weapons. And here is the student of perfection that I was trying to talk about, and all the feats that go along with it. And his focus spells. So, unblinking flame aura. You focus your sight inside and call your inner fire to grant you warmth. You recover 15 hit points for the duration. You gain +2 status bonus on perception checks and resistance 10 to cold. It is a focus 5 spell. And then we have the mana wastes, which basically what you need to know about the mana waste is it's a land that was ripped apart by the war from excessive magic use, and magic doesn't really work well there anymore. In fact, it doesn't work right at all. And then there's Nex. This is actually the largest portion of the book, and Nex is the home to wizards and alchemists. The capital city is Quantium, I mean. And basically, if it's magic, pretty much anyone's welcome here because, you know, magic scholars, they're pretty accepting, right? So they give you just about everything. In the venturing section of Nex, you get some new tattoos, 3 ooze-based magic items, which is what I'm really trying to get to. Favorite picture in the book. Let me get there real quick. Yeah, it is. I think the whole section is actually 65 pages, so it's quite heavy on its detail and the important faces and stuff. Where is that's religion? That's next. So, adventuring in Nex, you learn about the cubes of Nex, which they have the cube of force, the lesser cube of Nex, and the cube of Nex itself, which is an artifact. But then they introduce the tattoos, and these tattoos are all upgrades to tattoos that they have already been discussed previously. So here's one. That's item 4. Activate it. Envision. The effect is it transforms tattoos into weapons of your vengeance. The vengeful arm crawls onto your hand and becomes a retribution axe. That's pretty cool, actually. And then oozes. So here's a goo grenade, which is a 1+ item. And there's several different versions of it. So major, level 17, you gain +3 item bonus to attack rolls. The target takes 4d4 acid damage, 4 persistent acid damage, and 4 acid splash damage. They take a minus 10 foot circumstance penalty to their speeds. And the escape DC is 35. Really cool stuff that they're introducing. And this is just stuff really, I mean, they could have made this book a lot bigger if they wanted, but it's already pretty heavy. So they're really giving us a lot of interesting things. And then there's new summoning spells. Summon a flesh forged, a servitor, a healing servitor to be specific. 2, I thought there were 3. Nope, there's only 2. And then the last things in the book, there's a section on religion, and every section on religion is exactly what you would expect. It lists all the things that are standard for a deity. So you have the name, the little circumtitle or surtitle, areas of concern, alignment, divine font, divine ability, divine skill, the domains that they offer, alternate domains, the cleric spell list, the edicts, the anathema, and their favored weapon. Which, by the way, I really like that picture too. And then the book finishes up with a 17-page bestiary, but one of the cool things about it is they also have a chart of beasts and monsters and where to find them, and it is separated or sorted by different geographical sections of the book. All right, there you have it. That is The Impossible Lands, not in 10 minutes. I can't seem to get down to 10 minutes anymore. There's just too much stuff in the books, which is a good thing. So who's this book for? This book is really for players and characters, but man, GMs are going to have so much fun adding into their stories with this book. I am really planning on using the Mana Waste section, which is really a short part, and next a lot for my campaigns. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Please like, subscribe, share. This is the last flip through to get me caught up on the Paizo publications that I own. So now I'm going to start delving back into complete reviews. So check back soon. Thanks and have a great day.
Hi guys. Meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button and share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in a link below, and my kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know, you're not going to go knock down my camera. Bye guys.